everyone, Biomechanable here, and today I'm back with another short scrap mechanic video. I'm going to be showcasing to you my quadrocopter, rocket quadrocopter, and how it differs from the UFO I uploaded last time. We use WASD to control the stability of the craft. And in case you're wondering how I set rocket engines to fire when I press S, I simply set a secondary hotkey. I borrowed my S key, so I actually can't run backwards right now because I used it to control the craft instead. But that's just temporary. I hope the developers fix that, like add, I don't know, maybe 2 nodes to connect things to when you look at a driver's seat with the connection tool, a front node and a back node, so that maybe we can just connect rocket engines. When we press number 1, it activates the rotors. When we press number 2, it goes from hover to lift by pitching the engines an additional couple degrees. And all the other buttons are for secondary things. 4 does nothing but turn on the radio. Not that you can hear it over the rocket engines. And 5 and 6 rotate the craft, but I have them set to have secondary hotkeys of C and V, so I can control that with my thumb while I'm flying. So we're going to go ahead and give her a quick whirl. Should stay generally stable entirely on its own, but it gets a little bit off, which is what the gyro would compensate for in the flying saucer, but we don't have a gyro. Try to get as close to that landing pad as possible. Coming down in this craft isn't exactly the easiest thing. Actually, that was pretty good. We hit right on. Didn't even bounce. Cut the engines at just the right time. If you look at it with the connection tools, it looks complicated, but it's not that complicated. This little custom back piece turns left and right and fires the left or right engines using sensors. I explained that in my previous flying saucer video. The front and back engines, as I explained, are controlled by pressing W to fire these ones and tip the craft forward so you move forward, or S to tip the craft backwards. And other than that, it's pretty simplistic in design. You got 2 buttons that you can press that fire 4 of these engines each time you press one of them, so it'll rotate the craft. The hardest part is the oscillation of the engines. I believe I have them set to 13 degrees when in hover mode, and like 20 degrees. I think, yep, 20 degrees total once it finishes into lift mode. In case you don't know how to set to increments less than 15, you hold the shift button when you drag your slider. That was something I didn't know for a while, and when I figured that out, it allowed me to control the tip more precisely, so I could get the thrust to balance out the actual weight of the craft a little bit closer, because you want it to kind of hover. I mean, after all, it's a helicopter. You don't want to drop altitude too fast. And then you tip it just a little bit to raise altitude. You really don't need a whole 15 degrees. A lot of times 5 degrees is enough. I didn't have to set it to a whole 20 degrees to get lift. I believe 15 was enough to actually generate lift, but just barely. And so I have it set to 13 to hover. So it takes a lot of time to play around with your settings on your controllers and your thrust ratio for your engines. These ones are set to max, but I believe a lot of the other ones are not. Like, I have the rotation engine set to minimal, and the tip engines are at about halfway. So it's all a bunch of variables, and once you get them all working properly, you tend to get a pretty stable craft. Obviously, it's not quite as stable as the UFO, but it does the job. You can get from one place to another fairly quickly, and you don't have to worry about the craft ever like overbalancing and suddenly you're going down in the desert because the gyro's registering wrong. So I hope this was informative and you maybe are inspired to build something that one-ups me. And if you liked it, go ahead and slap that like button, and I will catch you guys next time.